Hey, what's going on? It's Patrick. It's 7 o'clock at night and it is after work. I had a pretty busy day today. I got to start from home, which is nice. I love starting from home. I just get my assignment by email and sleep in a little bit later and get all of my stuff done without going to the office. I do like going to the office. I did get to stop into the office to pick up a chart and some paperwork, and I got to have a little chat with one of the nurses. I visited one of her patients over the weekend. And so it was good. I got some FaceTime in with my coworkers, or a couple of my coworkers anyway. But yeah, I was on call this weekend, and that was pretty cool. I got to do a lot of visits, and did a pronouncement, which is, it is what it is. It's hard to really say that I've gotten the hang of pronouncements, because it's always really different depending on like how well adjusted the family is, how well prepared they were, stuff like that. And every once in a while, I'll do a pronouncement and I'll feel like I didn't do a very good job afterwards, even though the steps involved are very simple. It's like a really big event, and sometimes I'll look back on it and think like, oh, maybe I should have done this differently or whatever. But most of the time they go pretty well. It's just every once in a while, But so after my last on-call shift, I'd just gotten to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I get a call from work asking me if I can come in and do some visits. But I was able to do them later on in the afternoon, so that was nice. And today is Tuesday, so that was yesterday. I didn't record one of these yesterday because just from my sleep cycle being all messed up, I didn't feel like recording myself being all tangential and incomprehensible. Who wants to see that? But yeah, I did 5 visits today, and then I did an admission, which is going to be a lot of paperwork. But especially since it's 7 o'clock now, well, I'll bring my laptop out to the coffee shop or something like that, and sit around and do my charting there. Because there's too much to distract me in my room. I have a hard time getting things done at home. But I think that might be it for me this week for work. They said they'd call me Wednesday or Thursday if they needed any more admissions done, because I guess they got a lot of admissions coming up. So yeah, it's good. I've gotten a lot of admissions under my belt by now, and I'm starting to get a feel for it a lot better. Everybody seems really reassured and asking really good questions, and by the time I'm done, everybody seems really confident that they've made the right decision, and their family member is going to be well taken care of, and all this other stuff. I visited a nursing home today too, which is fun. I like my nursing home visits. I like hanging out with the nursing home staff and swapping stories and BSing with them, so that was kind of fun. I got to meet a clinical psychologist today, which is kind of cool. I don't often see clinical psychologists in nursing homes, but the nursing home I visited today, one came up to me and introduced herself. She's from one of the subcontractor psych agencies that contracts with the nursing homes. And that's a really nice service for people to be able to take advantage of, psychotherapy at the bedside, and psychiatry and nurse practitioners and stuff like that. And almost done with this current class in school, nursing 200 and something or other. I forget exactly which one it is. Which is called Transition into Practice. Which I'm taking with a class of 10 people, all of whom are already registered nurses. So I don't know what they were thinking with the Transition to Practice class, because we've already transitioned into practice from nursing school. But I'm pretty relieved the class was over. I mean, it was such a nothing class. I didn't have to open the textbook once, really, except for a couple of times when I had to scrape a quote out here and there. And I was getting solid 95s, 100s on everything, and it took no work at all. I mean, yeah, I really felt like it was kind of a fluff class. And the instructor was really cool and very knowledgeable, and she really encouraged us, and she was very responsive, and she participated in the message forums and stuff. But I don't really feel like I got a whole lot out of it. I do enjoy just posting on message forums about issues that I think are interesting. So I mean, I did get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. And the big teaching project, which I was talking about later, and I did post a video of my first service, which was like a joint school/work project. I did really enjoy doing that, and I'm glad that the course included that as like our big term project or whatever, because I really felt like it, you know, led to my professional development/advancement or whatever. I really enjoy doing it, and it's sort of like an excuse for me to get into doing stuff like that more often, which I'm being told is in the works, so that's pretty cool. If I get to do another in-service, I'll definitely record it and see if I can do a better job, see what you guys think, if I learned something from doing it the first time. So next I have to take a Western Civ class. Oh my god. Why do I have to take a Western Civ class? Well, the reason is that my GPA when I graduated from nursing school was 0.03 too low to skip all of the Bachelor of Science in Nursing classes. I was originally told when I applied to this school by my admissions, you know, counselor or whatever, that I wouldn't have to take any of the BSN classes. I could just start working on my MSN. And then after I was accepted, they're like, oh, by the way, the director just released this statement saying that there's no exceptions for the GPA cutoff. I'm like, oh, really? So now I'm being tormented with a Western Civ class, which is a subject that I've read about and written about ad infinitum throughout my academic career. And now, I mean, I guess I would be more enthusiastic about it if it was a 200s level Western Civ class, but no. It's called, what's it called? It's called The Human Journey, Multiple Paths to Civilizations, or some BS thing like that. So that's the next 8-week module coming up, Fall 1. And then Fall 2, the 8-week module after that, I'll be taking both Advanced Health Assessments and Religious Studies 101, Introduction to the Study of Religions. Which is another one that I'm sure is going to be another nothing class. Yeah, I just got my textbook for Western Civ, and it's surprisingly small for a textbook that cost me $120 used. It was an alarmingly small textbook that I'm sure I'm not even going to have to crack open because I've got a computer that's connected to the internet. So whatever I want to know about Western civilization, I'm sure I'll be able to find. But Advanced Health Assessments I'm looking forward to. I think the project aspect of that class, if I remember the course of study correctly, is that I have to attach myself to an advanced practice registered nurse and follow her around, observing her assessments and writing about what I have learned. And that sounds like it could be interesting. I'm already kind of thinking about who I want to follow. There's a couple of really good APRNs that I've worked with in the nursing home system. Particularly in psych, I guess. For nurse practitioners, I've had more experience working with psych nurse practitioners, but there is a gerontology nurse practitioner that I've worked with who just seems like really fantastic on, top of her game, and I wouldn't mind following her around. I don't remember if it's for 10 hours total, or if it's for 10 hours a week. Either way is fine, just to hang out with somebody, because I love running into those people professionally, when I'm coming in as a consultant, or when they're coming in as a consultant, or we both show up at the same place as a consultant. I absolutely love chatting with them, because all of the master's degree advanced practice registered nurses that I've met are just really amazing, phenomenal clinicians, and I always learn something from them. So I'm looking forward to Advanced Health Assessment. So it should be a pretty interesting class. Well, we'll see how difficult it is. I mean, the academics are really surprisingly light for supposedly prestigious university in the tradition of Catholic intellectualism, whatever that means. But yeah, I mean, with every class that I take, I'm like more and more pissed off that I'm being forced to take these classes, because, I mean, my classmates all seem like they're pretty cool, but they also, I mean, they've been out of school for a long time, they've been nurses for a long time, but most of them really don't seem to be, like, very scholarly, which is fine, I mean, they're there to advance their education, but I think I'm really already prepared at a higher level, not because of my academic experience, but just because of my life experience and my own self-study and stuff. I would really much rather be taking MS BSN classes right now. But, you know, just like when I went to nursing school originally, I know that you've got to do stuff that isn't that interesting to you in order to get to where you want to be, and that's fine. I'm just kind of disappointed it's going to take me so long to start taking the classes that I want to take. I think, looking at my course of study, if I don't do any more doubling up than what they already suggested, I'm going to finish with my BSN, I think, in early 2013, and then start working on my master's, which I think I can do in about a year, like a year and a half, maybe. But I am getting pretty excited about the clinical nurse leadership role. I'm reading a lot of interesting things in the nursing blogosphere about it. Particularly, I think something I came across recently that kind of got me reinvigorated about it was Emergiblog. Emergiblog? Emergiblog. I think it's Emergiblog. Like emergency blog. It's Emergiblog. I think that's what it's called. I think the nurse who writes it, his name's Kim or something. But yeah, there's a lot of great nurse bloggers out there. It kind of makes me feel bad I haven't kept up with my nursey blogging, but it's very difficult for me to separate out what I can write about without getting into trouble and what I cannot. Mainly because I refuse to be anonymous. I feel pretty strongly about that. I mean, I feel pretty strongly that people should be allowed to be anonymous, but I feel very strongly about not being anonymous myself, if that makes any sense. I don't feel like I should have to be. Because it's like extra stuff you got to keep track of, you know. You have to like make extra sure that you're anonymous. And you know, I don't. I know what protected health info is. You know, I'm not going to be blogging about people's protected health info, but just our day-to-day experiences of our jobs, you know, are interesting enough to write about. And I don't really feel like I'm not really that interested in editorializing about it too much. I just think a simple record of the experiences themselves are enough, you know, and interesting enough to write about on their own. So you know, I'll probably come back to doing that someday. I hope I remember enough in the future to be able to do that. That's kind of, you know, part of my rationale for blogging. I want to, you know, record and remember those things, so I'm not as burdened by, you know, the imperative to remember because I've written it down. Which is very contrary to my personality. I never take notes. I do take notes when I'm doing like an admission, you know, or when I'm doing my routine nursing visits, and that's a big shift for me too. All through nursing school, I never took notes. All through high school, never took notes. It actually really offended my clinical instructors when they would be lecturing in the classroom. It would offend them greatly that I did not write down anything they said, and it's a shame because, you know, it was really a testament to how interesting they were to listen to. But then on the other hand, all they were doing was really reiterating stuff I'd already learned from reading the textbook, so I didn't see why I should write it down again. You know, it's already in the textbook. If I want to remember it, I can just look it back up again, you know. But, you know, when they spoke extemporaneously, they were all very interesting. When they were sharing their experiences, that was very interesting to me. And it would have seemed rude to me to write them down. Like I'm not paying attention to what they're saying, I'm not listening to them, I'm just recording the important bits of what they said so I can look them up later. And, you know, over the years I realized I never did look over my notes later, which I guess is still a personality trait that I have. When I do my blogging and stuff, I rarely go back and read what I've written in the past, so I guess it's more of a communication strategy than like a journaling device or a record. It's for other people to remember, not me, I guess. If it's important, I'll remember it, I suppose. But writing it down helps me remember it. I just don't need to look at it again. I did review that video that I took of the in-service that I did, and I think that was pretty constructive. But it's something that I wouldn't have done unless I was intending to post it on the internet. You know, I didn't go back and look at it locally on my hard drive. I went back and I looked at it on YouTube, you know. I don't know what that says about my personality. Maybe I'm schizophrenic or something, but it seems like if I haven't posted it on the web for everybody to see, then it's not real in some like crucial, fundamental way. It doesn't exist, you know. And so many people have suggested that I make a record just for myself, but if I were to do that, I'd never review it, you know. I mean, it's like an activity that I'm not interested in doing, you know? I don't know. So yeah, I have a lot of paperwork to do. I'm going to be doing paperwork until, you know, let's see, it's 7 o'clock now. I'm guessing I'll probably still be doing paperwork at like 10 o'clock at night, maybe. And that's time I'm going to bill for. You know, I'm going to put that in my timesheet as patient documentation time. So I'll get paid for it, you know. And I got a bonus for doing an admission after 4 p.m. Because I did an admission after 4 p.m., flat $140 bonus. Bam! Yes. Who says you can't make money working at a nonprofit? I love this employer. And it's actually the only employer I've ever had that I was actually proud to work at. Even my first nursing job at the nursing home, there was plenty about that place that made me not very proud to work there, even though I was very happy with how my practice had grown, you know, and how, you know, I was proud of what I was doing. Maybe pride is the wrong word. But you know, with this agency, with this nonprofit hospice agency, it's like an employer whose like actual mission I like believe in, that I agree with, you know, like there's some like extra value besides the money, besides the professional advancement, besides my own, you know, sporadic ongoing education. The contributing to the mission of this agency itself just seems to be like its own benefit somehow. Which I guess explains why I'm still working for them per diem with no benefits or any of that stuff. Which I really have to get on, because I think I'm like a year or two, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I'm overdue for my first endoscopy. You know, because they tell you you're supposed to get screened for whatever primary cancer type that somebody in your family has had 10 years before they were diagnosed with it, and I missed that cutoff a year or two ago. So, whatever. Oh, here we go. Yep, I'm almost home. Almost home, ready to go home and start working some more. Yeah, it's a good thing I like charting, because otherwise this job would really suck. I like charting on the computer. You know, it can be a hassle sometimes, but now they've updated our electronic charting software to include support for something that it really should have supported in the first place, which is common Windows keyboard shortcuts, like when you have you know, when you have a scrolling list, to be able to type in the first few letters of the thing and jump right to that thing. Being able to use tab and shift tab to jump back and forth between fields, things like that. So I'm very happy that they support those things now. That's very sensible. One thing that it does still do that irritates me is that when you highlight text and then paste with the keyboard shortcut, it appends the text rather than replacing the text. I think that's a, you know, an obvious bug. You know, probably the majority of the people who use this software aren't savvy about Windows shortcuts, so these things probably don't get picked up or noticed right away. Yeah, that's okay. Alright, here I am. Home again, home again.